Kicking it off with Carvana, it's the top trending ticker on Yahoo Finance today. Shares are surging. You're looking at gains of just about 25%. We had been up about 40% in earlier trading. The struggling used car retailer's Q1 earnings beating the street's expectations. Also predicted that it will reach adjusted profit in the second quarter, much earlier than expected. Carvana has been working to cut costs and restructure its business. Remember, shares plunged 98% last year. Rising interest rates really slowed down demand.
Spiking fuel prices across the U.S. have put the spotlight back on EVs. Interest in other parts of the world, such as in Europe, has jumped. But in the U.S., it's a little early to tell.
Data from Edmunds shows that in April, more customers did trade in their gas cars for EVs, both in the new and used markets. The increase was about 7% overall. Popular segments, small and mid-size SUVs, saw the biggest jumps. There is also a rising number of repeat EV customers.
There are hidden Carvana deals happening right now that most buyers will never find. Not because they are hard to find, because nobody is telling you where to look. A 2021 Honda CR-V. It was listed at $24,900 on a Monday. By Friday, it was $19,500. Same car, same lot. $5,000 cheaper in less than a week. The buyer watching it thought something was wrong with the car, so she walked away. There was nothing wrong with the car. What was wrong was something happening inside Carvana that they do not want you to understand. A financial crisis hiding behind a website. 9 entire categories of vehicles being quietly liquidated at massive losses. Not because Carvana wants to lose money, because they have no other choice. And the buyers who figure this out in time, they are walking away with deals that should not legally exist. So the question is, do you know which 9 cars Carvana is desperate to get rid of right now, before that window slams shut for good? Here is what most people get wrong about Carvana. They think it is a car company. It is not. It never was. Carvana is a cash flow machine dressed up as a dealership. The whole model runs on one idea: buy cars fast, move them faster, and make the money back on the margins in between. When that works, it works beautifully. When it stops working, everything starts bleeding at once. During the pandemic, used cars turned into gold. Every vehicle on every lot was moving. Carvana saw that and did what any company drunk on momentum does. They went all in. They overpaid for trade-ins. They bought bulk lots from rental companies. They scooped up leased vehicles before they ever hit the open market. The bet was simple: turn them fast, pocket the profit, buy more. For about 18 months, it worked exactly like that. Then the market shifted. New cars came back in stock. Prices came back down. And suddenly, Carvana was sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of inventory they had paid peak pandemic prices for. Prices the market was no longer willing to match. And here is where it gets brutal. Every single day a car sits on their lot, it costs money. Not a little money. Real money. Dealer holding costs run $25 to $45 per vehicle per day. A car sitting 120 days racks up $3,000 to $5,400 in pure carrying cost before it ever sells. Run that math on a specific car. Carvana paid $25,000 for a 2020 Toyota Camry at the height of the pandemic rush. Market value on that same car today is $16,500. That is already an $8,500 gap. Now add the carrying costs on top of that. Suddenly, that $25,000 car is $28,000 in the hole before a single offer comes in. And the longer it sits, the worse that number gets. Every morning the sun comes up, the loss grows. So what do you do when you are sitting on a mountain of inventory that is losing value faster than you can sell it? You slash prices, and you keep slashing, and you keep slashing until the car moves. Carvana reported offloading 27% of their inventory in 2024. That sounds like progress until you understand what it actually means. They did not move those cars because demand was strong. They moved them because holding them any longer was going to cost more than the loss they were already taking. That desperation did not hit every car equally. 9 specific categories are getting crushed harder than everything else on the platform. And those are exactly the ones you need to know about. Let's start with the category that tells you everything you need to know about how Carvana ended up here. Compact sedans. The 2019 to 2022 Honda Civics, Toyota Corollas, and Hyundai Elantras that everyone bought during the pandemic because they were cheap, reliable, and easy to move. Carvana loaded up on them for exactly that reason. They were the safe bet, the guaranteed movers, the cars that never sat long. They are sitting now. The average 2020 Honda Civic that Carvana paid $18,500 for is now listed at $13,900. That is a 25% haircut in real time. And it is not just Carvana's buying mistake driving this. Hertz and Enterprise dumped millions of compact cars into auctions at the same time, flooding the supply so hard that the market will take years to absorb it. Every day Carvana holds a 2020 Honda Civic is a day they are not acquiring a newer model with more buyer appeal. So they take a $4,600 loss today rather than absorb another $1,350 in carrying costs next month. That is the math they are working with. The second category is mid-size SUVs. The 2019 to 2021 Mazda CX-5s, Hyundai Tucsons, and Kia Sportages. Carvana made a bigger bet here. They were convinced SUV demand would stay hot forever. It did not. Prices across this category have dropped 20 to 28% in the last 8 months alone. A 2021 CX-5 that Carvana acquired for $22,500 is now listed at $18,400. That is a $4,100 loss before you factor in a single day of carrying costs. And then there is the floor plan. Financing working against them on top of everything else. Financing costs on a vehicle at this price run $93 to $131 per month in pure interest. A midsize SUV sitting 120 days adds nearly $1,300 in financing costs alone, on top of everything else already bleeding. The math becomes impossible. They have to move these vehicles at whatever price clears them. The third category is full-size sedans. The Toyota Camrys, Honda Accords, and Nissan Altimas from 2018 to 2021 were supposed to be steady, reliable movers. Nobody wants them. Sedan demand has not slowed down. It has collapsed permanently. A 2020 Camry that sold for $19,200 in 2023 is now listed at $13,800. A 28% markdown on a car that was supposed to be the safe play. Every week it sits, it costs another $175 to $300 in carrying costs. And that is just the first 3. The next 6 categories are where the deals get even harder to ignore. Before we go further, if you want the complete breakdown of every car that will drain your finances before you even realize what happened, I put together a free ebook called Avoid These 17 Cars in 2026. Depreciation data, reliability scores, the exact models mechanics see constantly. Link is in the description. Download it before you walk into any dealership. Now back to the list. Category 4 is compact crossovers. The 2020 to 2022 Mazda CX-30s, Toyota Corolla Cross models, and Subaru Crosstreks. Carvana read the market correctly here. Small SUVs were replacing sedans as the go-to family car. The trend was real. The problem was the volume. Carvana bought so aggressively into this category that their CX-30 inventory alone likely exceeds their annual sales target for the segment by 40%. That is not a small miscalculation. That is a warehouse problem. A 2021 Mazda CX-30 that was listed at $18,900 2 months ago is now $12,200. That is a 20% markdown in 8 weeks. 8 weeks. That is not a sale. That is a company throwing prices at the wall, trying to make something move. Category 5 is hatchbacks. The 2019 to 2022 Honda Fits, Hyundai Venues, and Kia Niros. These are niche vehicles. Carvana bought them thinking variety would help move overall volume. Instead, it created a storage problem full of slow-moving cars that nobody is urgently searching for. These are getting hit with the heaviest discounts of any category on the platform. A 2021 Honda Fit that Carvana had listed at $17,800 6 months ago is now $12,900. That is a 28% cut in 6 months. The car did not get worse. The situation did. Carvana bought them at volume, they sat too long, and now the only option is to liquidate at whatever price clears them. The original cost does not matter anymore. Only velocity matters. Category number 6 is economy SUV fleet cars. The 2018 to 2020 Chevy Equinoxes, GMC Terrains, and Ford Escapes that Carvana picked up cheap from fleet liquidations. They thought bargain entry-level SUVs would sell quickly. They did not. Fleet cars carry hidden wear and deferred maintenance, and buyers know it. Carvana has been holding these longer than any other segment on the platform. A 2019 Chevy Equinox, acquired for $14,200, is now listed at $9,950, a $4,250 loss. But holding it costs $150 every single week. Carvana is choosing the immediate hit over the slow bleed. 3 categories down, 3 more to go, and they get more interesting from here. Category 7 is subcompact sedans. This includes Nissan Sentras, Hyundai Elantras, and Kia Fortes from 2018 to 2021, vehicles that rental and fleet companies abandoned in massive numbers. Carvana picked them up cheap at auctions and marked them up expecting strong margins on budget-conscious buyers. Those margins are gone. The buyers are not showing up at the prices Carvana needs. So now these cars are being pushed out at near wholesale prices just to get them off the books. A 2020 Nissan Sentra that Carvana sourced for $9,800 is now listed at $7,400. They are taking a $2,400 loss on a car they were supposed to make money on. That is not a discount. That is damage control. Category 8 is what happens when a car does not fit neatly into any box. The 2019 to 2021 Subaru Outbacks, Ford Edges, and Dodge Journeys are sitting in an awkward middle ground between sedan and SUV. Not cheap enough to attract economy buyers, not premium enough to attract buyers willing to spend more. Carvana bet on diversification, and it backfired badly. There is no clear buyer profile pulling these vehicles off the lot, and without urgency from buyers, there is no pressure relief for Carvana. A 2020 Subaru Outback that was listed at $22,100 is now $17,800. These vehicles are stuck in inventory limbo, and Carvana has far too many of them with no clean answer for moving them. Category 9 is where the single biggest loss per vehicle lives: used electric vehicles. Specifically, older model year Teslas and Nissan Leafs from 2019 to 2021. When Carvana started acquiring electric vehicles aggressively, the electric vehicle market was on fire. Every Tesla was moving. Demand felt permanent. Then, prices collapsed across the entire electric vehicle segment. Battery anxiety spread through the used market. Buyers started asking hard questions about range degradation and replacement costs, and a lot of them walked away from electric vehicles entirely. Carvana was left holding aging electric inventory worth significantly less than what they paid for it. A 2020 Tesla Model 3 that Carvana paid $35,000 for is now listed at $24,900. That is a $10,100 loss before you count a single day of carrying costs, financing charges, or overhead. $10,000 gone before the car even sells. 9 categories. Billions in write-downs. Prices dropping week after week across every segment. But here is the part that most people shopping Carvana right now do not understand. The inventory problem is only half the story. Underneath it, something far more serious is happening. And it is the real reason these deals exist, and the real reason they are not going away quietly. Carvana's entire operation depends on one thing working correctly: financing. When you are selling cars remotely through a website with no physical showroom, you need the money side of the equation to function. Without financing, there is no volume. Without volume, there is no business. That is the pressure point. And right now, that pressure point is cracking. In 2023 and into 2024, Carvana loosened their underwriting standards significantly. They had inventory piling up, and they needed it moving. So they started approving buyers they had no business approving. Buyers with a 580 credit score. Buyers with income-to-debt ratios that made no mathematical sense. Buyers taking on $28,000 car loans on $42,000 annual incomes. On paper, none of it worked. But on a screen, at a company desperate to hit volume targets, those buyers got approved anyway. Now those decisions are coming back. Default rates on Carvana, financed vehicles have spiked to 8 to 12% on subprime loans. Some groups of those loans are hitting 15%. Think about what that actually means. For every 100 cars Carvana financed to higher risk buyers, up to 15 of them are coming back. Not as happy customers trading up, as repossessions. And here is where the individual math gets ugly. A 2022 Ford F-150 financed at $31,400 comes back to Carvana after 12 months of payments. That buyer paid $7,500 in principal before they stopped. The vehicle is now worth $22,100 at wholesale auction. Carvana absorbs the gap between what they are owed and what the market will pay. They eat that loss. Now multiply that by tens of thousands of vehicles moving through the same cycle, and the margin collapse stops being surprising. It becomes inevitable. The vicious cycle has no clean exit. Carvana cannot finance fewer customers because they need the origination volume to justify operations. They cannot hold defaulted vehicles longer because every additional day costs money they do not have. So they liquidate fast at wholesale prices. The used car market gets flooded. Retail prices compress. Competition increases. Margins shrink further. One anonymous Carvana employee put it plainly: "We know we are not going to make money on financing anymore. It is all about volume now. Push the cars out, take the loss on defaults, and hope the scale works somehow. That is not a strategy. That is a company trying to outrun a fire. It started itself." But here is what that means for you specifically. Survival mode creates opportunities. And the window to take advantage of what Carvana built and broke is not staying open much longer. Here is the part that changes everything you just learned. This window is not permanent. The deals exist right now because a specific set of conditions created them. Those conditions are already starting to shift, and when they finish shifting, the leverage disappears completely. Carvana's new leadership has started tightening acquisition standards. They are buying fewer cars, only the models they are confident they can move at a target margin. The strategy of loading up on volume and figuring out pricing later is over. That means the inventory fire hose that created these 9 categories of deeply discounted vehicles is already slowing down. It will not slow gradually. It will go from a flood to a drip, and the deals will dry up with it. There is also a wave coming from a completely different direction that most buyers are not watching. The vehicles financed in 2021 and 2022 at peak pandemic prices are going into default right now in 2025. That is not a coincidence. That is a timeline. Those loans were stretched over long terms to buyers who were already at the edge of what they could afford. Now those same buyers are hitting walls, hours cut, bills stacking up, payments stopping. A used car dealer in Ohio said it plainly. In 90 days, these lots will be flooded with repos. We can already see the pipeline. We have stopped acquiring the same vehicles because we know supply is about to get crushed. Banks understand what is coming, and they are timing their releases carefully. Spring and summer are peak demand seasons for used cars. A repossessed vehicle hitting the auction block in May moves faster and at a better price than the same vehicle sitting in January. So lenders are metering the flow to protect their recovery numbers. But they are running out of storage space and running out of time. Within 120 to 180 days, repossessed inventory from these synchronized loan cohorts will flood the market in a way that pressures prices across the board. Remember Sarah? She watched that 2021 Honda CR-V drop from $24,900 to $19,500 in under a week. She hesitated because she thought something had to be wrong with it. By the time she decided to move, the price had bounced back to $22,100. She missed a $5,000 opportunity because she did not understand what the price drop actually meant. There was nothing wrong with the car. The only thing wrong was Carvana's inventory targets. That hesitation cost her real money. The buyers who move with information instead of hesitation are the ones who win in this window. That window is still open, but not for long. So now you know exactly what is happening and exactly why the deals are real. The only question left is how to find them before someone else does. There is a methodical way to do this. It takes maybe 20 minutes a week, and it works because it is built around understanding how Carvana's pricing actually behaves under pressure. Start by filtering Carvana's inventory to one of the 9 categories covered in this video: compact sedans, mid-size SUVs, full-size sedans, compact crossovers, hatchbacks, economy SUV fleet cars, subcompact sedans, compact SUV overlap, used electric vehicles. Those are your hunting grounds. Everything else on the platform can wait. Once you are inside a category, sort by listing age. The older a listing, the more pricing pressure Carvana is feeling on that specific vehicle. A car that has been sitting for 60 days or more has already been repriced at least once, probably more. Carvana's algorithm drops prices automatically when a vehicle crosses certain age thresholds. By the time a car hits 120 days on their inventory, the price has often been cut so aggressively that it falls below fair market value just to force a sale. That is your signal. Take the vehicle you are looking at and cross-reference it on Kelley Blue Book, NADA Guides, or Edmunds. If Carvana's price is more than 10% below what those sources say the car is worth, that is not a deal. That is a clearance. Those are two very different things, and understanding the difference is what separates buyers who win from buyers who hesitate. Next, read the full inspection report. Carvana publishes detailed inspection documentation on every vehicle. Read it carefully. Look for cars with minor issues only: worn tires, a small dent, surface scratches. A 2021 Honda CR-V with worn tires and a small dent in the rear door is a cash register waiting to be opened. Those are fixable problems on an underpriced car. Check the warranty tier before you commit. Longer warranty means Carvana has more confidence in that car's actual condition. It costs more upfront, but it protects you from the repair bill that arrives 6 months in. And finally, do not buy the cheapest car in a category. Buy the car that has been discounted the most relative to similar vehicles in that same category. That is the one Carvana is most desperate to move. That is where the real leverage sits. Every deep discount on that platform is Carvana quietly screaming that they need that car gone today. That is the moment to move. That is the moment when the buyer holds every card at the table. Here is where everything covered today comes into focus. A company that moved too fast, bet too big on pandemic prices that were never going to last, and is now liquidating the consequences across 9 categories of vehicles in real time. The deals are not advertised. They are not accidents. They are not errors in the system. They are the math of a company that needs cars off its books faster than it needs the profit from selling them. 9 categories, billions in write-downs. A financing crisis running underneath the inventory problem that guarantees more vehicles keep flowing back onto that platform for months. The window created by all of that is real, but it is not staying open. New leadership is tightening standards. Acquisition volumes are dropping. The pipeline of pandemic-era defaults is moving toward its peak, and then it will normalize. When that happens, the urgency evaporates, and the pricing efficiency returns, and deals like the ones sitting on Carvana's platform right now simply stop existing. The buyers who win in this window are not the ones who got lucky. They are the ones who understood the pressure, identified the right categories, ran the numbers, and moved with information instead of hesitation. Before you go check Carvana's inventory, download the free ebook. Avoid these 17 cars in 2026. Depreciation charts, reliability data, the exact models draining buyer finances before they even see it coming. Link is in the description. Download it first, then go find your deal. The deals are there, but only for the buyers who know what they are actually looking at.